Okay, so you guys can see there is a graph on the screen. And we're going to think about today, what are some questions that you could ask as you're analyzing a graph, just like the one that we see here above. Okay, so the first question that we could ask is, how many students play baseball? Right, we look at the graph and we can see that baseball is one of the sports, so it would be good to want to ask ourselves how many students are playing baseball. Another good question we could ask ourselves is, what sport was played the least? So looking at the graph, I could tell that hockey was played the least because it's got the least amount of balls. Okay, another question that we could ask is, what sport was played the most? Okay, so looking at baseball, football, soccer, hockey, and basketball, it looks like soccer was played the most out of all the students. Let's ask another question. How many students play soccer and hockey? This is a good question to ask ourselves, but we have to be very careful because in this situation, in this graph, in this chart, they've decided to represent each soccer ball as 10 students. So we can't just say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 students play hockey and soccer. Each ball actually represents 10. So skip count with me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So 80 students play soccer and hockey. Another question that we could ask. Ooh, this is a good one. What survey question could have been asked to gather this data? So we see the title, and that's often where I would look to find this answer. The title says sports played by third graders. So we might wonder, what question was asked to these students in order to get this data? If I were thinking about it, I would think that they asked the third graders, what sport do you play? Make sure there's no more questions. Okay, I think that's it. So good, as you guys can see, these questions that we're asking are going to help us analyze this better. Okay, we don't want to just look at it and not question what we're looking at. So we're going to look at another graph here. The title of it says, what kind of pet do you own? I like to look at both sides of the axes. So over here, it tells us the number of people. And over here, it tells us different pets. So what question could we ask about this? I would ask, how many people own a cat and a dog? Right, then we would go ahead and add up the dog and the cat. The dog is about 8, the cat is about 11, so 11 plus 8 is 19. Or we could ask ourselves, which pet do people own the most of? And that answer would be the cat because it's got the biggest section here. Good. Here's also some keywords that you can use: combined, in all, less than, more than, total, fewer, and greater.